So last we left off, you had put on the timing chain. What else is new?
Now the whole short block is assembled, as you can see. Basically, we have a high dome type piston. It's a 11-to-1 with a 64cc head. Two single eyebrow reliefs. Shortly we're going to start checking piston and valve clearance to make sure you have enough clearance for the high lift cam that we're running. These are high performance head gaskets. They're 41's thickness, and that's basically it right now. All the oil pans on, front timing chain covers on. Consists of our top end of the engine. Starting with the carburetor, it's an AED 750, intake manifold, Edelbrock Super Victor, and the cylinder heads, Edelbrock Victor Jr. This is a AED 750, which is based off of a Holley 750. Benefits of this carburetor: they mill off the choke air horn for better flow. They changed the center squirters around and put 35 cc's instead of the stock 28. They also make it a 4-corner idle circuit, give you more tunability. They calibrate the air bleeds, which is also in conjunction with the metering blocks. They reprogram them for different circuits, so it changes the fuel curve. I've tested a lot of carburetors in the past on the dyno and at the track, and for out-of-the-box performance, this one works flawless. It has a 6.5 cc power valve in the front. They use number 70 jets in the front, number 82s in the rear, which is almost perfect for an engine up to 500 horsepower. Carburetor also features downlink boosters, which is a better signal on the engine of this type. I like those over just the regular straight booster. This is an Edelbrock Super Victor. It's their model number 2925. It's rated from 4,000 to 8,000 RPM, which would seem like a bit racy for the street, but from my experience once again at the track and on the dyno, these are one of the top ultimate performance intakes for this application. They're readily available. It's not a specialty race item. Once again, it comes with extended dividers, which means they bring the dividers out. They're not knife edge, they're radius, so they flow better. It's a lot taller, so it's good for upper RPM and upper horsepower. It also, the runners are divided from the base area, and it has a feature where cool air can come underneath, and it keeps the intake charge nice and cool. It also has 2 mounting provisions for the distributor. It also has mounting for the cooling lines. You can run cooling lines here to equalize the cooling in the engine, which is a nice feature. It also, what we went and did, we're going to use Felpro 1206 gaskets, and we went and port matched them to the intake because they come a little smaller. So it doesn't really give you that much performance, but it can't hurt. We don't really want any sharp edges obstructing flow at all.
God bless us, everyone. We were broken people living on the loaded gun, and it can't be outfought, it can't be outdone, it can't
These are Edelbrock Victor Juniors. It's Edelbrock's top-of-the-line street cylinder head. A lot of the features that I like about it, one would be the big combustion chamber area. Working with our pistons that have a little dome to them, it'll drop compression down to a daily driving 10 1/4 friendly. Also, they're aluminum, so they resist detonation a lot better than the steel head would. They also have angled spark plugs. As you can see, some twist in this way and some twist out that way. It's an added benefit for combustion. They come with stainless steel valves. These are 2080s 1/600. Another benefit, it has a really wide exhaust port and they flow really well out of the box. We put them on a flow bench, and out of the box they flow 207 CFM at our range that we're going to run our camshaft in, which would be the mid 550 range. And with a little work, we got them up to about 213, which is very good for a street cylinder head, exceptionally. Another benefit, they come with hydraulic springs already set up. That'll handle up to 575 lift, which falls well into our range of what we're running. 7/16 studs with guide plates. The ports, intake ports, have been CNC ported to our 1206 gaskets right out of the box, and they also have a raised valve cover rail, which is great for sealing purposes. Just a really good cylinder head right out of the box. I always like to check everything. We checked the valve job. Valve job was pretty much right on. Did a little work to the bowls to tune them up, and they're pretty much ready to go. For a street-friendly cylinder head, they're not too bad. A lot of people are scared because the runner volume is 215 cc's, which means if you poured this with a liter of fluid, it would take 215 cc's of fluid to fill that up. Most cylinder heads on the street, you like to be between 180 cc's to 210 at the max. This is a little on the bigger side, but it really should help us on top end on this project. So I'm really not afraid to use them, even though they do have a relatively large runner volume.
Take it low. We can even do it slow. We can even do it slow. Take it where you wanna go. Either way you wanna go. Take that ass to the floor.
Right now, I'm setting up to check piston and valve clearance. We use the Play-Doh to find out where the valves actually come in contact with the piston, how far and how near. It's just basically an inexpensive mold. So we'll set this up now. I like to use a little 3M weather strip. It adheses to the piston so it won't come apart while we're doing the test. And I mix it with a little talcum powder so it makes it a little more flexible.
Always there when you call. Always on time. Gave you my baby.
Now what I'll do, I'll turn the piston down in the bore a little bit. And now I'll place the cylinder head on the block. We're just checking piston and valve clearance, so what I'll do, we'll just use 2 bolts just to hold the head in place. Now we're going to check valve train geometry, and the reason we have to do this, these are the push rods. They're in between the lifter and the rocker arm. As you can see, this is a 7/800, which means it's 700 or 7 inches long and 800 thousandths. This is a 7/950, which is just about 150, just say 1/8 of an inch longer. And I'll show you the reason we have to check this. We're using a hydraulic lifter, and what that means is it has a plunger inside. So once this is pressed, it lets oil through. That makes it hydraulic. When you're checking piston and valve clearance, we like to use a solid lifter, which means it doesn't move. That's why I refer to it as solid. That'll give you a more accurate reading because this part doesn't move. So I've already installed the one. We'll just put this one in. Now here's the importance of the proper push rod length. Push rod length usually has to do with how long the actual valve is. If the valve becomes 100 thousandths longer, you have to compensate the same distance with the push rod. These are standard length valves. So we'll take our rocker off. We'll put it on. The lifter is at top dead center. Now if you look right here, the contact area where the roller lifter is all the way towards the back of the valve. Now ideally you want that roller lifter to be in the center of the valve. So that right there tells us we have the wrong length push rod. Now we'll take this back off. And we'll insert a standard length push rod. Now we'll recheck here. And as you can see, the roller is more towards the center of the valve, so that we have now the correct length push rod. This is at top dead center. The roller on the rocker is right in the center of the intake valve, or on this one in particular it would be the exhaust valve. And I'll rotate, and you can watch this roller rotate on the valve as I'm turning the engine. See, it slides all the way forward, but it's still on contact on the valve. Now we'll rotate a little more. As it starts to push down on the valve, it'll rotate towards the back. That's with the valve all the way open, and we still have the same amount of contact. Turn it back up, and roll back to the same spot. Another thing you want to check too, to make sure the retainer doesn't hit the rocker arm, you must have clearance there as well, because that'll bind up too. At this point we rotate the engine. The valves have opened and closed, and they should have made a impression arm hold. Hopefully they didn't. If they didn't, that means we have plenty of clearance. If they did, we'll have to measure it and see how much we have.
Fire till you're soaking in your seat. It's not a fluke, it's been tried, I'm the truth. Since turn out the lights from the world-class wrecking crew, I'm still at it, after mathematics. In the home of drive-bys and acmatics, swap meets, sticky green and bad traffic. I dip through, then I give you the DR.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the street.